Give us a few stories about these crises and how, we learned from them.
Um, no, whole book on this, so it's difficult to just stop at two examples or
Your
three examples.
favorites.
But yeah, but I'll give you a couple of examples. I'll go absolutely to the beginning in the 1990s and talk about Harshad Mehta scam. That scam happened mainly because there was no electronic trading at that time. It was all physical. So government securities, the banks bought directly in the auctions and all. And then when trading happened, so one bank sold the securities to the other, they would have to submit the documents, the form and the securities to the RBI so that RBI would, which was keeping a physical ledger book for each government security and each time the hands changed. So it would enter it into that register and that the ownership of so-and-so security has changed from A to B and then give it back to B. Now, in between, there would be some kind of tacha receipt issued by the RBI to bank B saying that, okay, you have given me these securities to transfer it to your name. So this is the receipt. And then they would have to bring back the receipt and then take away the government securities duly transferred to its own name. Now, this was a process, and the entire thing, bankers wouldn't come to the RBI. It was the broker who had brokered the deal who would come to the RBI, give those documents, take the receipt, go back, bring back the receipt 3 days later, give it to RBI, and then take the securities back and give it to the. This was the normal circumstances. Now, somebody like Harshad Mehta, who was smart, he knew that this is a system, and he was greedy for money, cash, so that he could invest it in stock market and earn a lot of money. Now, stock market again at that time was not T+1, not T+0. It was T+3. And the whole market was ruled by what at that time they used to call Badla. So Badla market doesn't require physical delivery of stocks. You just bid for some stock, buy them, quote unquote, uh, pay the money, which is the Badla finance, not the full money. And then by the time 3 days later, when settlement was going to take place, you unwind your position. In between, whatever days, and you keep the stock with yourself, whatever appreciation happens and whatever, the earnings happen, that's all yours for at the cost of only Badla finance, which is a small amount of funds. So this is what Harshad Mehta used to do. He would take the securities, give it to RBI. Now he knew that 3 days later these securities are going to come back. So he would take the banker's receipt that the RBI has issued, go to another bank and say that these are the securities, give me cash. And that cash he would put in the Badla market and then earn money and reverse the whole thing at when the time of delivery came. So this is how funding was happening, and this is how government securities market was antiquated in terms of physical, ledger maintenance and all that. Harshad Mehta scam, the whole Janki Raman committee report and, some 7, 8 reports were there. And they went into technicalities of how it happened and where and how, the nitty-gritty of each deal and all that. And that's when they realized that this was the loophole that was getting exploited. So the whole thing gave rise to electronic journal keeping. So the whole subsidiary general ledger that we used to keep in physical form became electronic. And we started what we call delivery versus payment system. So you make payment and take delivery. You make delivery and you take payment. There was no gap of that 3 days in between because now we could expedite the whole thing being electronic. So that's how the whole reform in government securities market took place, thanks to one scam called Harshad Mehta scam. So that's one episode of how the institution evolved.